What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Born to Heal with my heel himself, Tyler Heavy T Soto. What's going on, Tyler?
I hate everything and everybody.
If you go through your timeline on X or Twitter, you can tell. Yeah.
yeah, it's not good. I hate most of the Angels' current team. I hate whenever the Falcons lose, and that's a majority of it right there.
But what you are loving is some WWE lately because it has been great. Good stuff over there on SmackDown and Raw, of course. SmackDown was kind of, I think we talked about this last time, is that it was kind of not as exciting as Raw has been, but then all of a sudden the last couple SmackDowns have been really good too.
Yeah,
so.
literally, we had the first episode. This is our second episode, by the way. Yeah. But literally, we have the first one, and we're like, SmackDown's been kind of lacking. That was 2 weeks ago. Last two SmackDowns, absolute bangers.
Oh, yeah.
Bangers?
So good. Bangers. The Bloodline story is now finally coming into a story, I guess.
I guess its own. It's finally coming into its own.
We're here. We'll talk about that later when we go over. By the way, we're going to be giving our predictions and go over each match for Money in the Bank. Yes. That is this Saturday in Canada.
Toronto.
We finally get a normal time pay-per-view event here in California, so that's exciting. I don't have to wake up super early in the morning to watch it or try to get pumped for wrestling at 10 a.m. But thank God, here we are. We did have an AEW Forbidden Door this last Sunday, and I've been giving them kind of high praise on the last few pay-per-views they have done. I will admit this one was a little caca. Wasn't exciting. There was first of all, they're too long, okay? They're too long. It's like 5 hours long.
Yeah.
There's like 40 matches.
You know, it's really funny because a couple years ago, this is before you started really getting into wrestling, WWE used to be the exact same way. If you included the pre-show, their WrestleManias were like 7 hours long. Ooh. With insane, like 15 match cards. Like, it's too much. It's too much. Tony Khan, stop. You don't need 14 matches on a card. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, and we were going through the grades here before we recorded. It's D, C, 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 C. Only a few A's.
Yeah, a couple A's in there via Bleacher Report. A couple of A's in there, but a lot of C pluses, a lot of B's. It's just, if you're going to have a 14-match card, you need to do what WWE started doing a couple years ago. You need to split it into 2 nights. 14 matches in one night is absolutely insane.
I agree. There was parts where I was just like, wasn't interested, was doing other things. And, and then I came back. Really, the only fight I wanted to see was the Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland fight, which we knew that Strickland was probably going to win this fight. And Ospreay would finally lose his first fight since joining AEW, which is crazy in its own right.
Yeah.
But it was a good fight. And those two man, they're talented. Like, Ospreay could be the most talented wrestler in the world right now.
It's absolutely crazy that you have. I mean, Ospreay is. I've known about Ospreay for years. That dude just puts on banger after banger. It's one of them English blokes that is, just able to do it all the time. And then you have Swerve, and the fact that Swerve didn't really get a chance above NXT. Kind of shows you, in WWE, I should say, kind of shows you how bad, especially towards like the last 10, 15 years, Vince McMahon's booking was. It was horrendous. I don't even know if he ever got called up to the main roster. He might have, but if he did, he didn't do anything. And now he's killing it as a world champion.
He's killing it. His story is good. His everything about him is good. His walk-in music, his tagline, everything, the coming to America sidekick that I love, everything about it is absolutely incredible, and I'm here for it. So that fight was actually really cool. It was so cool that my father-in-law actually stayed, like he was going to leave when it started. He actually watched the whole thing. I was like, man, that was pretty cool. So there you go.
Memories, one match at a time. Let's go.
Making memories. And Ospreay is going to get his, and obviously MJF will be involved as well. So there you go. That was Forbidden Door. a one match wonder right there in my eyes. The rest was okay. I mean, the Elite is always fun to watch. They're one of the better heel, more comedic heel groups in wrestling. So it's what it is. And I like how they're shouting out to Owen Hart with the Owen Hart men's tournament as well. So some good things over there, but just not as good as WWE has been lately, and it's not even close.
Now, with Forbidden Door, I think in about 2-3 years, you're going to look back at like, hey, when did Ospreay and Swerve face each other for the first time? Like, oh, Forbidden Door, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to mention all the matches. You're like, oh my God, that happened. That happened. That was on that show. It's going to end up being one of those pay-per-views where I don't want to go as so far to say it's necessarily a one match pay-per-view. So like I said, there was probably 2 or 3 good ones in there, but that's the one that's only going to really be remembered.
110%. I can't say it better myself. Okay. So now we're going to talk about Money in the Bank. And because a lot of what's been happening on SmackDown and Raw over the last couple of weeks kind of revolve around these matches, we'll be able to kind of talk about that stuff as we talk about these matches. So
review/preview.
Hey, look at that. Only on Born to Heal can you get that. So I'm not sure which. Now, because it is Money in the Bank and it's kind of a shortened card here, I think we only have 5 total fights in the entire.
There are 5 total fights, and this is the way I like it. Make your pay-per-view about 3.5 hours. Have 5 fights, sometimes 4. Give it time to breathe. Tell a story. I like these kinds of pay-per-view styles more.
Okay, we'll go through the 2 main Money in the Bank matches at the end. First,
Perfect.
We'll do the other 3 first. We'll start with the Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, who's been breaking everyone's souls with his out of the ring spears, where he runs around the whole thing and comes at you. That backfired on him the other night, but yeah. But Braun Breaker looks like he's a future heavyweight champion in the making right now. Everything about him is pretty exciting, and I'm kind of liking what they're doing with him.
Within 2 or 3 years, this man will be, if not World Heavyweight Championship, he will be WWE champion. It will be one of the 2.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
He's so good. I hate using this term because I feel it gets thrown around too much. He is legitimately a freak of nature. That dude is. It's kind of wild. I don't know if we've technically ever seen anything like him since maybe when Lesnar first showed up back in 2003. Lesnar came in, you're like, who is this dude? He is killing everybody. He's a huge, man. Breaker has strength, insane speed. He has the attitude. He has the charisma when he needs to get it down. He's so good, man. He is it.
And also tans very, very well.
Oh, he's very, very tan. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens when you're in NXT and that thing's down in Florida. So,
well, Sami Zayn obviously defeated Chad Gable at Clash of the Castle and just kind of put that behind him as quickly as possible. And
because Chad a little busy with some other things.
Yeah.
We will get to that.
Yeah, Chad is being haunted. That's for sure. And without his Alpha Academy now, which is crazy, but which we all saw coming. But Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, I don't feel that they're gonna take Sami's belt quite so soon here. I think he keeps it a little bit longer, maybe even till SummerSlam. What do you think here? I'm seeing split from a lot of the so-called experts out there.
So this is where I actually disagree. We are going to split on this.
Okay.
I think Breaker wins. What I want to see happen is very similar to Cena versus Lesnar, SummerSlam 2014, where Lesnar comes out and beats the piss out of Cena, like absolutely destroys him. Ultimate squash match. That's what I would love to see, is just Breaker absolutely destroy him in a matter of a few minutes and it's over. That I think would be like, this guy is a freak. He is a monster. That's what I want to see. I don't think we're gonna get that because
poor Sami Zayn, man, he is so over right now.
Yeah, Sami's a little too over to where I think we're gonna get a full complete squash match. But I will say Breaker gets this and has about a year-long reign with this belt.
A year long,
assuming he doesn't get hurt.
Okay, and does he do it alone or does he get help?
Oh no, he does this alone. He doesn't need. He's one of the guys where you can be like, that dude don't need no help. That dude don't need no help at all. No, he does this on his own. He wins.
And remember, people, there's a lot of Brawns here. Don't get Braun Breaker confused with Braun Strowman, like a certain somebody did on Raw the other.
Don't get him confused with his bronze skin either.
Yeah,
So,
or that either.
Yeah.
Or that either. So we split on that. I think I could see that going either way, though. I'm not like putting all my eggs on one side of the basket. I like Sami Zayn. I like to see him keep it a little bit longer. But since he's gotten the title, let's be honest, the storyline, they got him involved being the savior of the Alpha Academy crew that were being bullied by Chad Gable, and they just said, okay, we're done with that, move on. So there's not really much there for him in the terms of all these other great storylines that are happening right now. So I can see that he loses it here, and here's the rise of the Braun.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sammy's been there for a while. It's time to get Braun in there. I need this to happen. I absolutely need this. And now, like I said, I think he's going to have a year-long title reign, but I'm fascinated to see who his opponents will be, because I mean, him and Ilya Dragunov threw on some bangers in NXT, and now we could potentially get that again for a title on the line. But that might be a little too soon to do it. So I'm really curious to see what they do if Braun wins.
Remember, Braun Breaker's the guy who hit Ricochet so hard, not only put him in an ambulance, but may have sent him to AEW as well.
Oh, he sent that man out of WWE. I believe it was as of July 1st. We're recording this on the 3rd. I believe it was July 1st. Ricochet's contract officially expired, so he can show up wherever, man.
That's how his reign in the WWE ended. That's pretty embarrassing.
This dude basically speared him to Tony Khan's front door. Amazing,
crazy. Damian Priest is going to be fighting Seth Freakin Rollins, which I love this matchup, by the way. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
I love Seth Freakin Rollins, and lately I've been kind of liking Damian Priest. He's kind of slowly turning into a little bit of a good guy, slowly. And a certain guy who also talks like that said, "I think you're changing, buddy. I think you're changing." And Finn Balor, what's going on here?
It's interesting. I don't necessarily want to say that he's changing, but he's definitely leaning more towards the good, the babyface side.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of in a weird spot, because I see him trying to be the leader of the Judgment Day, especially with the whole Liv and Dom stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you look at Raw this past week specifically.
Mm-hmm.
He asked Dom, like, have you talked to Rhea? And she's like, oh yeah, like I talked to her. She's cool with this, and he's like, well, I just talked to her and she's freaking pissed.
I think she's coming back soon, by the
way. She is definitely coming back sooner than later, if not this premium live event, I should say. They are not pay-per-views anymore.
Let her get back. Let her get back from her honeymoon. And then
yeah, you know what? A good point. Congrats to Rhea Ripley for getting married to Buddy Murphy.
Buddy Matthews.
As he used to be in WWE, Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
My dreams are ruined, but that's okay. My fallback is Liv, much like Dom, apparently. So I guess that's okay. But yeah, going back to Damian, it's crazy, because you see him trying to take the lead and everything, and Liv is kind of worming her way in there, like, nah, I think we're gonna push you out. It's kind of crazy. And then you know what? She did technically help them win the tag titles back.
It's true.
So Finn Balor's starting a good point. Like, hey, she's cool in my eyes. And I'm like,
yeah. And I think Finn was the one who ended up with the key. The card key.
He ended up with the key. And there was that one Raw, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where Damian opens the door, Liv comes out, and he's like, Dom, you better have just ended it. And yeah. And Finn's in there looking guilty as all hell.
There's some thruppleism going on in here, man. I'm telling you.
Wild, man. Wild. Well, you know what the funny thing is? You think this storyline is wild now. If this storyline was a year later and it was on Netflix instead of, on a censorship TV.
Yeah, I hate that.
Oh, my God.
Lately. It's like I can't even understand what they're saying in the ring, because they just censor the crowd so much.
Yeah, you know what? You are not the only one that is feeling that, but we can get to that later.
Yeah, that's on another day. But One big thing too about that was the funniest thing of the whole night was when the crowd was chanting, "Shave your mustache." That was
Love to see it. No, he's not getting rid of that dirty sandwich.
not that. No, his name is Dirty Dom for a reason.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
now, if Damian Priest loses, he has to leave the Judgment Day. So that's why this is so important. But if Seth freaking Rollins loses, then he can never challenge Damian Priest to the title again while he holds it. I don't think he's going to hold it for the rest of the year. So that's probably in Seth Rollins' favor anyways. But does Seth freaking Rollins have a chance here, or are they going to keep this Damian thing going until Rhea officially gets back?
I think Damian retains. However, I think this match goes at least 20 minutes. And Seth does a very good job of putting Damian over. Seth doesn't really need the title. I know he gets the rematch since he lost it at Mania, but he doesn't really need it. Damian needs this. So now, I don't know where they would go if Damian loses his title and then all of a sudden he's out of the Judgment Day. What do you do with him?
Yeah,
I'm not sure what you do with that. Plus, I think Seth being a very credible champion, if he loses and putting Damian over, it makes Damian look a lot better.
Correct. I think you're right there. Now, there is kind of a monkey wrench you can throw in here, and that is when the timing of these matches are. Obviously, you don't know until the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that is a very good
Drew
point.
McIntyre wins Money in the Bank, and Damian Priest wins against Seth freaking Rollins. Then does Drew McIntyre cash in the Money in the Bank right then at the end of the show?
So, you know what? I say this is a good spot for us to move to the men's Money in the Bank.
Okay, we can give our predictions here now.
So, I saw something very, very interesting. I saw a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
One is, what if Drew, let's say this leads the pay-per-view. This is the first match. What if Drew wins and CM Punk doesn't get involved in this match? Drew wins, tries to cash it in. The cash-in is official.
And then CM
Punk comes out, messes with Drew. Drew loses. The cash-in is unsuccessful, and now the contract's done. That, I think, would be very, very interesting. However, there is one more thing that I want to see. In the Money in the Bank ladder match, Drew is about to reach for the briefcase. And who has Drew been making fun of recently? CM Punk's dog.
Oh.
Shout out to Larry.
Yeah.
And his wife.
The bracelet. He's wearing the bracelet.
Yeah.
Yep.
And his wife, the former AJ Lee in WWE. If Drew is on this ladder and then all of a sudden AJ comes out and does something to knock him off and cost him the match, cinema right there. I would freak out. I would be like, that's incredible. There's a lot of things you could do with Drew McIntyre in this match. However, this one I'm also slightly interested in. I'm actually going to pick Chad Gable to win this briefcase. Yes, I'm going to pick him to win this briefcase. He won't cash it in right away. He'll hold on to it because he's got his own thing with the Wyatt 6 going on, which is hilarious because this dude's trying. You mentioned earlier that he's trying to get his, help back from, Alpha Academy. Otis was about, so he hits up Otis in like the catering section, right? Otis was about to leave 2 full plates of food on the table and walk away from Chad. This dude hates him so much. If you're willing to walk away from your dinner, I think it's hilarious. But now I think Chad holds on to it for a little bit and then he cashes in on the bigger prize than the Intercontinental Championship that he did not win versus Sami Zayn.
Well, let's look at the betting odds. Yes.
Oh,
okay. Betting odds.
I'm curious.
Drew McIntyre is minus 250.
That makes sense.
And okay, I don't think he has any chance to win Andrade, plus 350. LA Knight, who could be a wild card here, plus 600, but I don't think so. I think, if anything, Logan Paul is going to make an appearance and end that real quick. I think an underdog for me who could win, and I can see them going somewhere with it, is Carmelo Hayes.
That would be interesting. That would definitely be more of a long-term storybook thing. But Carmelo, you know, he killed it in NXT. That's Shawn Michaels' guy. And who's Shawn Michaels close with? Triple H. So it makes sense.
And then, of course, you have Chad Gable at, what is he at? He's at plus 900.
Get all your money thrown on Chad Gable. Get all your money thrown on Chad Gable.
I don't know. I don't know where you could even bet on these. I think overseas. Bet online. Bet online.
Get your house thrown on Chad Gable.
And then Jey Uso, who seems to be a popular pick among the Bleacher Report analyst here, is plus 1100. So
I don't. This might be just me. I'm not into the Jey Uso character at all.
Yeet Us. Yeet Us. Come eat with me. Come eat with the Us.
I'm not doing that. No, I'm not throwing my hands up. I think that's just me. It's just not for me. I mean, it is what it is. If he wins it, I'd be like, all right, I get it. But I think there's so many other things you could do if you give it to Chad or Drew. I mean, Drew's the obvious choice. Knight, I don't think wins it because I think he's going to end up fighting for the U.S. title at SummerSlam against Logan Paul. Andrade is an interesting choice. I'd be okay with that because I've always thought that he was underutilized.
He's not one of the most popular wrestlers right now, so it kind of be like, what?
No, but this, this briefcase does have a tendency to elevate those who carry it. Sure. Carmelo would be interesting, but I think it's Gable or Drew, and I'm gonna pick Gable.
I'm gonna say it's McIntyre's to lose, and I think there's a chance he wins it and then loses it. His storyline lately has been absolutely insane, and I'm here for every bit of it.
Yeah, love every part of it,
all of it. And plus, we'll talk about this next, but with Jey Uso particularly, it seems like they're playing this into a Jimmy coming back and Roman coming back and getting the old boys back together in a good way with Paul Heyman, because he's not coming back for a minute now, and do something different there. I think that's where that is going. I have a feeling that's where that's going.
Poor Paul Heyman. He didn't deserve that.
Yeah, that new bloodline is ruthless, right? However,
yeah, but you know what? Real quick, I do want to shout out Paul Heyman for one thing, because apparently, in order to get the stressed out look, and this man looks stressed. So in order to get the stressed out look, I mean, you could do small things. You just don't shave. Like he saw, like he has like the scrub.
Yeah, it's double.
He wasn't really taking care of himself and everything. But apparently, he purposely did not sleep to get like the bags under the eyes and everything. This man is committed to the storyline. I absolutely love it. Good for I love Paul Heyman so much. Love the guy.
Me too. And apparently he's going to be in hiatus for a minute. So we'll see. We're probably right. What's happening here? We can kind of see it happen before our eyes. But the bloodline is ruthless, but so is Kevin Owens, Orton, Cody Rhodes.
I agree.
This is going to be a absolute barn burner and must watch television. What are your thoughts on this match, the triple tag team?
I think the bloodline wins.
I think so too.
And I say that because two things. There's rumors that the SummerSlam match we're going to get for the title is going to be Solo versus Cody, which I'm fine with. Yeah. I think I'm fine with that. That's okay. So that's reason number one why because I don't think Solo wins against Cody. I think maybe at SummerSlam is when Reigns comes back and basically puts Solo in his place, and then they deal with that, because Solo versus Reigns doesn't need the title. So I think that's where that happens at SummerSlam, and that's where Cody retains. But to make Solo look credible, you got to give him a win. So I think that's why the bloodline probably beats Cody, Owens, and Orton. And then reason number two, you saw it again a little bit when Cody was doing his speech. Orton's looking at the title. He wants it. I think if he wins it, it would be number 15 for him.
Jeez.
So yeah, no, he wants it, man. So I think the bloodline wins this match. How
Now,
ruthless it ends up being, I do not know.
It's going to be ruthless. But here's the interesting part of this. It's the Bloodline. And we were just introduced to the craziest one of them all in Jacob for 2. It doesn't tell us which 3 of the Bloodline will be in this match.
That's a good point. I have heard that there may be a little bit of a travel issue for 1 or 2 of them, and that is specifically because, if you have something on your record, you probably can't go to another country. So that is a small part of it. But you're getting Solo.
Oh, yeah.
And you're getting 1 of the other or 2 of the other 3, and they're all insane.
But 2 to me is the craziest. That dude
and he just got there.
That dude has crazy in his eyes. Like,
and he just got there, man. It's crazy.
So,
bro, this thing this family has like unlimited family members, dude. It's crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it is insane.
I'm just waiting for them to summon the ghost of Yokozuna and just get back in there, dude. Like, jeez.
By the way, thoughts and prayers and condolences to Roman Reigns' father, who passed away.
Yes, thoughts and prayers.
So, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I'm kind of with you. I think it's gonna be the longest match of the night by far, and I think there's gonna be. I'm sure they'll be up in the crowd. I'm sure there'll be a lot of things being thrown around. I don't know how many tables are gonna break or how many times they're gonna swipe tablets away, but it's gonna be a lot during this one. It's gonna be something, and it's gonna be epic. So I'm excited for it, but I think the Bloodline does win as well in this one, which will hurt everyone's heart because everyone loves Orton, Owens, and Rhodes. It's just the way it is, but it's called Born to Heel, not Born to Babyface, right, Heavy T?
Yeah, fuck them baby faces.
Okay, 1 more left to go here, and I think we're going to be on the same page pretty much. The women's Money in the Bank. I think it's Tiffany time, baby. It is Tiffy time, and I don't think there's anybody else that wins this.
It's Tiffy time, bitches. Let's go.
It's nobody else that's going to win this.
Dude, she's so good.
She is good.
She's so good. Also, she is my fallback if Liv doesn't work out. So it just ends up to that. But, there's 3 names in here that I could see winning it.
We probably have the same 3.
Tiffany Stratton is the very obvious one just because she's so good. It's her time. I need this to happen. I need Tiffy time to happen. The other one that I think could win it, Io Sky would kind of make sense just so she can get a belt back because, she lost the one to
Am I mistaken, or did she win last year?
She did win last year. So, yeah,
she'd win back-to-back.
She would be the first women's back-to-back winner and only the second back-to-back winner, if I am correct, behind CM Punk way back in the day. And the third one, who I would actually really like to see more than Io Sky winning it again, I would love to see Chelsea Green win this thing.
Yeah, we're on the same page here.
Yeah, because she's like, if I win, I'm bringing back the Divas title, which is incredible because she's the only one on the roster right now that would actually make that belt work, the Divas Championship. And I love what she would be able to do with it. I think it would be great. But unfortunately, I think Tiffy time is a little too more important than that.
Yep.
So I'm going Stratton here.
And we all know who she's going to cash that Money in the Bank case in on as well if she wins. It's kind of clearly obvious.
Yeah.
Poor Naomi, man. Hey, at least she married an Uso. What can I say?
Yeah, she'll get there eventually. She would she'd probably be my 4th option to win it. And then I think Lyra and Zoe.
Yeah,
I'm not into Zoe Stark at all.
Nah.
I'm just not.
Even her match the other night was kind of like
yeah, and my bad. It's Lyra Valkyrie. My bad. So
I said it right? I said it right. You said it wrong. I said Damian Prince earlier, so yeah, we got 1 and 1. We're good.
Just call him by his real name, man. The bisexual Undertaker. That's what he is. Love to see it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll go. Wow. I'll say Tiff Stratton wins this.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so we're on the same page there. With the men's, I'm saying Drew. You're saying Gable.
Yeah, I'll say Gable.
Okay, for Sammy versus Braun, we both think. I think Sammy's going to win and keep it. You think Braun?
I have Braun winning. Yeah.
We both say Priest over Rollins.
Rollins,
and we both have the Bloodline.
Okay, so we are what? We agree on
three
of the 5. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. All right.
But it's kind of like hard to agree on like the multiple person, like the 5 people fighting in a ladder match. But we did.
You know what? Sometimes, but not necessarily all the time. I mean, I think you have a good cast in both of these Money in the Bank matches. So,
are we going to see anything special on SmackDown this week to kind of hype this up a little bit more, or like what more can you do? You've pretty much set the table here. It's just a matter of sitting down and eating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the only thing we get is maybe you get Cody fending off the Bloodline real quick to kind of just add more of that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think that's a good way of making Cody look strong, and then you have the Bloodline winning on Saturday.
Yeah, because a lot of the guys that are actually in the main event are actually Raw, most of them. So it's kind of, you have that too. Like you have Priest and Monday Night Rollins.
Actually, yeah. Now that I think about it, I'm looking at the card and like, holy crap! Yeah, most of these are Raw. Because
so SmackDown should just be everyone coming out talking and fighting each other till the main event happens. Is what's going to be pretty much, right?
Yeah, I'm even looking at the men's ladder match. We both have someone from Raw winning.
Yep.
Gable or McIntyre. So yeah, wow, this really is kind of a very Raw heavy card.
Raw heavy card.
Yeah, but I think the Bloodline being such an integral part of the story right now, that helps balance it out a good chunk.
Okay, if you had to guess what the main event would be, what do you think it would be? It's between 2 for me. It depends on when they do the Money in the Bank for me. If they do the men's Money in the Bank earlier on, I have a feeling we're going to see Priest Rollins last.
I have a feeling that the men's is either going to open or headline. It's one of the two. I don't think it's in the middle. If the men's opens, I would assume Damian versus Seth is the
correct.
Yeah, is the headline right there.
Especially if how funny would it be if let's say that did happen and then Drew McIntyre just walked out and stood there with the case in his hand watching them.
I mean, it's possible. It could happen.
Yeah. He's an angry man right now.
Yeah, I think those are your 2 main event matches. It's either the men's Money in the Bank ladder match or Damian versus Seth. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Cool. Any crazy out there predictions you can see? Some things that people may not be looking for that could happen here. We haven't really talked about the Wyatt 6 on this episode. Obviously, they've been haunting Chad Gable. Gable is in this match.
That was the thing I was thinking of. Dude, how wild would it be if they beat him up before the match and he's just like dead? So, I mean, that could happen. I did think about that, but I don't know if the Wyatt 6 would necessarily do anything in the middle of the match. They could. They totally could, but I'm curious to see how that would work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Gable, maybe one reason that Gable ends up losing is because he's constantly looking over his shoulder. Also, this might be where we get the Creed brothers finally helping him out, like on screen. This is, I just thought about that right now.
Only in the hallways right now. So yeah,
it's been only in the hallways. Just keep it secret, keep it safe, my guy.
You know it's coming. So you don't think the Wyatt 6 makes an appearance on Money in the Bank?
They might make an appearance, but I don't think they make an appearance during the actual match.
Okay, and do you have any of what's happened the last couple of weeks here? Obviously, the VHS tape has had some interviews with Bo Dallas.
They're so good.
And yeah, he deserves an Academy Award for them. They're really
Stephen
really
King
good.
Is proud somewhere.
Have you deciphered anything or in your head from them that you think could be where this is heading? That could be like just a prediction or maybe even a, just like what you think. Is it your opinion, not what?
Well, I think that the reason that they're going after Gable is because, Gable basically turned his back on the Alpha Academy. He turned his back on his family. Yeah. And you could tell through these videos, Bo Dallas says that they forgot about us. And like Bray Wyatt was heavy on the family part. Mm-hmm. So they forgot about us. There was Bo's brother. They forgot about the family or kind of along those lines. That's the only thing I could really see going so far. I'm very curious to see what they do over the next couple weeks, or if they do anything during the show that gives me more of a little bit of a lead, if I should say.
And Raw next week should be a good one too.
Yes, of course.
So there you have it. The complete Money in the Bank breakdown on Born to Heel. Heavy T and myself. Heavy T, tell everyone where to find you and more of your absolute incredible knowledge and nonsense.
You can find me at Heavy T on air on both Instagram and Twitter.
Yep, and I'm Edward Raus at Edward Raus. And also, check out the Monday Night Rant show we do every Monday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you're only in this for the wrestling, we do talk wrestling every once in a while on that show as well. But if you like other sports and stuff as well, we cover it all and we laugh and have fun doing it. And people hate and love us for it. So there you go. This has been a great episode. Thank you, my friend, Heavy T. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend and enjoy the, 3 days of 4 of just absolute incredible wrestling between SmackDown, Money in the Bank, and Raw on Monday.
Don't lose your fingers, people.
Yeah. Be safe. Be safe. Don't get too drunk and blow yourself up, because then you're going to miss Money in the Bank, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Until next time, from everybody here at Born to Heel, enjoy your weekends. We'll talk to you next week.